In a time when the main focus of our attention is on the lack of economic growth and the rise of unemployment in Europe amongst young people, and also the question if schools can cultivate creativity for our future citizens, a ghost is lurking in our midst. And this ghost represents a hidden threat that I think most teachers feel in their everyday lives in the classroom. It is the growing split of cerebral intellectual function from affective emotional experience. The split between thought and feeling, mind and heart, between truth and passion. Since 1869, when Charles Darwin's first cousin, Sir Francis Galton, tried to find the sources of creativity in his book, Inherited Genius, when his theory encompassed the idea that creativity and genius was inherited. We have tried to find the ingredients of creativity to try and solve the enigma of education. At that time, the scientists who believed in inherited creativity were in deep opposition to the artists, usually the Romantic poets, particularly the English poets Coleridge and Wordsworth, who believed that the source of creativity was a systematic fostering of the imagination in childhood. Since then, there have been many attempts, mostly unsuccessful, to find these roots of creativity. We have tried to research family background without success. We have tried to find the source of innate talent. We have tried to research the effects of parental support, but there are just as many exceptions as there are rules. Many people today say that children have lost the ability to play and they only want to be entertained. That is a general opinion amongst young parents. And it is reiterated in the fact that the roaming spaces in our cities today are drastically reduced. There are statistics from the United States that say that roaming space for free play in the United States in general has been reduced to 1/9 of the 1970 level. We live in an ambience of fear. And this is in direct opposition to the idea of free play. Now, many eminent people have talked about how play has helped the creative urge. And one of them has been quoted several times today, Albert Einstein, who said that play is the holy source of inquiry. And without that, I would have never been able to do my creative research. Another person who had an extremely deprived childhood, the English author Charles Dickens, writes at the end of his perhaps most famous work, David Copperfield, "This book would not be possible if I, in childhood, and not spent so much time under the wings, it's a wonderful expression, under the wings of play. When playing, I was never alone, even though I was by myself. Play was totally free, without obligations. Today, we have an obligation to go to school, by law. It is obligatory by law. 1/6 of our life is spent at school, not including the kindergarten or higher education. It is a big investment in our lives. Play, on the other hand, is voluntary. It is free. It is unguided. And today, one can say, play is under threat. We have the idea that all children are at risk, and safe play is guided play. We also have an early curriculum intervention, where there are plans in Europe to have a curriculum in the kindergartens and reduce the amount of free play. Creativity and emotional intelligence is all about experiences, as one of our speakers said today. It's all about forming experiences in play and in school. What is an experience? Well, you can say an experience has two sides. There's a rational, cognitive side. We can describe what we did and the course of events. But that is not an experience alone. An experience is also has an emotional side. We can describe what we felt. I will conclude this short address by giving the word to an older man. He is retired. He lives in Spain and enjoys the sunny climate. Born in England. He's now in his early 80s. And he has written a wonderful book called How I Was a Failure, How to Be a Failure and Succeed. How to Be a Failure and Succeed. And I think it summarizes everything that has been said today and the wonderful initiative from the Boating Foundation. But this is framed in an expression, in an autobiography by an older man looking on an episode in his childhood when he was 9, and how this emotional, social, creative, artistic expression changed his life and keeps him going as an old man. And so I think I've just got time for the quotation. I will say that this particular person had a very, very deprived childhood, and the worst thing in his home and at school was there was a lack of ambition. Any ambition was seen as being above one's station. During the morning, someone we don't know comes into the classroom. He sets up a wind-up gramophone and pulls some records out of a case. I don't know whether any of you ever listen to music, but I brought some special music to play for you today, he said. I don't know why, but I feel I must pay attention to what he's saying. This is music that can tell a story. As you listen, you can imagine what's happening. It's called program music. The story is set in an imaginary castle. Music begins to play in the great ballroom, and ghostly dancers emerge from the shadows. Gradually, more and more dancers join the dance. As the music reaches its climax, the dancers are swirling in delight to the haunting melody. Then, one by one, they begin to leave until the ballroom is empty again and the music comes to the end. I have never heard anything so intoxicatingly beautiful in my life. This is not music as I know it, but some divine sound that affects me in a way I have never experienced. It's so wonderful. The vision before me is so inspiring that the whole world changes in the time it takes for the record to finish. What I had thought was reality is simply an ugly cover for a much more beautiful world lying hidden beneath. In a dingy, depressing classroom, the language of music reveals a fairy tale castle more real to me than the school. Shabby teachers are replaced by romantic men and women, handsome and beautiful, dancing with such elegance and verve that the boredom of school is banished. I surrender to this world as I listen, captivated by its mystery. From now on, this is my new reality, a universe revealed by the miraculous alchemy of music. Just to conclude, this led this person, Sir Ernest Hall, knighted because of his business competence, to become a competent musician on the piano at 18. Very gifted. And at 18, he said, "No, I'm going into the world of business without any education." He became one of the most successful businessmen in the world. Today, he's in Spain, playing his music on his piano again. And he says that this episode changed his life. Emotional, social, and creative competence. Thank you. Oh yes, proposal. I got carried away with the music, sorry. Play is not a pastime, wasted time, or a way of using up excessive energy, but it is accepted that play provides a platform for the development of the imagination and critical thinking. That dreamy play in solitude is not a symptom of the psychological condition we call loneliness, and that we should consider the danger of the commercialization of play.